Next is Annabelle, is it Hasselman? Opawaho, Heathcote River Network. Kia ora and welcome.
Morena, everyone. Morena, I'm Annabelle Hasselman, Chair of the Opawaho Heathcote River Network, and this is...
Kia ora, Rachel Barker.
Kia ora, Malcolm Long, I'm the Secretary.
So we'd first just like to say thank you for everything that the Council has done to support us over the last year, and especially for your commitment to the water partnership, the upgrading of wastewater and stormwater, the lower Opawaho working group, and the commitment to community groups. There's a whole list there. For those of you who don't know, we're seeking, our vision is an ecologically healthy river that people take pride in, care for and enjoy. And we're doing this, we're becoming a voice for the river, and we're doing this because we care deeply about the health and maui of the river and connecting our community around the river. Many of you know we work collaboratively, and it's all about partnerships at all levels.
Our network supports a time when Ngāi Tahu values are expressed along the river, just as they are in the Avon or Te Karo. So the awa is honoured. We see the visibility of interpretation and art and visibility along the river. We have 20 active river groups along the whole network, and we'll hear more about that later.
So really, we really want to point out that we need a focus on urban rivers, and that a healthy environment needs to be a strategic priority of the council. The Opawaho is the most degraded river in Christchurch, and it suffers from urban stream. There's a huge amount of attention on the Avon o Te Karo, which is great, but we also need to have attention on the Opawaho Heathcote River, which is a tonga. So we need a catchment management plan, and we need a commitment to the actions, key issues along the river. So here we go, we need ongoing programs to improve the health of our most degraded river. We're alarmed that in the LTP that the council will basically be holding its own in terms of water quality, and with all the increase of development in the city, and with the Waterway Ecology and Water Quality Improvement Fund has been deferred for 10 years, and we see that's not acceptable. Sediment is a huge issue, and there's a whole lot of work that's been going on around that, thank you. And just to reinforce that the recommendations of the Cashmere Stream working group need to be implemented, and the City Council needs to lead by example in this space. And there needs to be a huge focus on revegetating those areas of the Port Hills that are key sources of sediment. And here you can see the confluence of the Cashmere Stream and the Opawaho Heathcote River. Stormwater is another key issue. The Community Water Partnership, to focus on the collaboration of developing that with all the partners, and the global stormwater consent and the stormwater management plan in the Opawaho. And here you can see in the lower river, stormwater. The Stormwater Superhero trailer is an amazing interactive resource and a great way of communicating with the public. And we need more of these innovative ways of communicating with our urban population. There's just a huge opportunity there to get our message across.
Many people may not realise that the Opawaho Heathcote is a site of ecological significance, and we look forward to the time when CCC and ECAN collaborate on a weed management plan. And some of the reasons are in the following slide. For example, you'll know yellow flag iris, but on the right-hand side is this reed canary grass, which is really taking over in the lower part, the lower part around Woolston. So this is a trial where it's been sprayed, but without action, that would spread right across the river, and it is, if you go and have a look down there.
If you don't know it, this is Connell Reserve, and across the river from that, in the lower part, is Laura Kent Reserve. And these are great examples of how, if you harness together the action of the City Council and community groups, we get a great outcome. And that's why the community partnerships program needs to continue, or if it's a temporary one, we need to have something that takes its place. And we see this as part of the community water partnership that was signed the delivery of that. It's supporting education in schools, it's supporting planting, and it's supporting community groups. And there's this great wave of community support that's coming towards our open spaces, and particularly along the river. We started with 9 groups in 2017, now 20 groups, and it could be 30 or 40 if we weren't having to restrain people from joining new groups or creating new groups. And we're doing that because the council only has 2 poor urban park community rangers who have to cover the whole of Christchurch and Banks Peninsula. And we just can't, we can't sustain more community groups without more community park rangers. 4 would be great. An extra 1 for Banks Peninsula would show commitment. And they should be not part of operations, but really part of biosecurity. And it's no use doing all this planting that we're doing and supporting the sides of the riverbank if we having people parking on the plantings and the white baiters wrecking them, and not only that, but contractors taking them out. So we're asking for the City Council to do something about enforcing the parking on the riverbanks and training contractors.
There's also consultation needed with our organisation. There's the proposed number of cycleways proposed along the banks of the Opawaho Heathcote River, and we need to be involved in that process, and to date we haven't been, and we need to, with the route selection and the design, so we're seeking involvement in that process. And there's a proposal for the implementation of the proposed Mid-Heathcote linear plan. This was developed about 10 years ago, and we're just asking the question, is a consultation of 10 years ago appropriate? Maybe we need to go back to the community and look at that before it's implemented, and definitely back to us as an organisation. So our key message is, let's all work together and help to restore the Opawaho Heathcote River. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, and thank you very much for your presentation. I mean, all of the language around partnership and working in a collaborative way, and how much more we can achieve when we work together. You're not the only organisation to come and reflect on the number of park rangers, the urban park rangers. So there's obviously quite a bit of work for us to be contemplating. So thank you very much for your.
Thank you.
Thank you.